Hello everybody, welcome back to Hyper Lemon GT. Today we're going to see why Kimmy got wiped out so many times, did he deserve it, and also answer the question, can he help you in a race? So first of all we've got to introduce Kimmy. If you play Gran Turismo 7 and you're in about the second to top split, you might know him. If you don't, then Kimmy is an interesting persona. His car is decorated in Gandhi, clean, racing, shampoo, peace, all this kind of stuff. But his driving style says the exact opposite. He likes carnage, he likes to wipe people out. So he has a bit of a reputation, people know him, and you'll see why people dislike him somewhat. So I'm starting in P6, this is Daily Race B, Dragon Trail Reverse. Now when I was learning this circuit I had to not think of this as Dragon Trail Reverse, I had to think of this as a completely new circuit, and that helped me a lot in qualifying and getting up to speed. But anyway, I sidetrack. So this race, I'm in the McLaren. Kimmy is starting in P2, a chap called RTR Ben starting in P1. Risky place for him, to say the least. So the race gets started. Of course there's nothing going to be much to report going down the straight. But now into turn 1, does anything happen? No? Kimmy's going down the inside of RTR Ben, and Kimmy has pushed RTR Ben into the barrier. So there we go, we've gained a position there. Let's watch what happens. Kimmy flashes his lights a bit, goes down the inside, and then just turns out. And then boom, that's it. Ben is in the barrier. And he's gone from what, P1 down to, I don't know, P8 or something there. So now back on board with me. As we said, gained a position. Kimmy is now in P2 behind Addy. Addy is now in a risky position, to say the least. So I just went around that really long corner. You've got to be really patient on the throttle, on the brakes, everything there. It's to be very delicate. Now, gaining a little bit there on the F-type. And the chap in the McLaren goes for a move down the inside of Kimmy there. That's brave as well. So now he's alongside Kimmy, but doesn't quite have the momentum, so he's slipping back into the slipstream. Now back on board with me, I lost a little bit of time around that last corner. As you saw, I went wide, so now half a second behind the car in front. The car behind is 3/10 behind me. Going into the chicane, got to make sure you get one wheel on the inside of that sausage curb. If you hit the sausage curb, you're going out wide, lose quite a lot of time. But I gained a little bit there through that chicane, and going around the last corner of the first lap now. And if you look up front, Kimmy just went wide, which has allowed the chap in the McLaren to get right alongside him. And, well, he gets Kimmied. Kimmy gets Kimmied there. That allows me to get down the inside. Cheeky touch there on the F-type. But now I'm up into P2, so P5 to P2 in a corner there, which all started from Kimmy going wide. Because of course Kimmy's pressuring the chap in the McLaren to have a suboptimal line. The chap in the McLaren was like, nah, not having that. But then Kimmy comes back, his omnipresence, you cannot beat him, can you? And then the chap in the McLaren did come back, crashed into him a bit more. RTR Ben, who he wiped out earlier on, comes back past him. Let's look at that from on board. Big turn in from the McLaren. But then, of course, Kimmy returns. Another McLaren crashes into him. And then the McLaren just thinks, oh yes, I'll just finish him off. So he lost a couple of positions there, but I'm sure he'll be happy because he wiped Kimmy out. Now, back on board with me, so 1.7 seconds behind the leader. Skip a lap forward, and now 1.2 seconds behind the leader, so we are gaining. And at this rate, we should be pretty close to the back of him by the end of the race. Now back to Kimmy. Kimmy goes down the inside of RTR Ben, and RTR Ben is not having any of that. Gives him a bit of a side swipe. Kimmy thinks, well, I'll just indicate, I'll swerve. Ben's like, okay, back into the barrier for you. So there we go. Kimmy's now in, like, I don't know, P14 or something. Check his car out there. There's Gandhi, peace. Now back on board with me. End of lap 3. Gaining still on Addy, and Addy has picked up a half a second penalty, and I am 0.4 of a second behind. So good position to be in. So he's coming up to the penalty line now. He serves his penalty and I just drive around him. Very much like how Red Bull F1 cars drive around every other car on the grid. Maybe that's what's happening. Maybe every other car is getting half a second penalty on the straight. Who knows? Anyway, back to the race. I'm now in P1. 1 lap remaining. Got a 0.4 of a second gap to the car behind. Skipping to the end of the final lap. Just hit the sausage curve there, got out a little bit wide. And now Addy is 0.2 of a second behind me. So I have to nail this last corner, try and get a good exit so his slipstream isn't sufficient to get past me by the line. So we cross the line in P1, 0.2 of a second in front. So that race win could very much be attributed to Kimmy, to be honest. He didn't crash into me, he crashed into pretty much everyone else in front of me. He ended up in P13. Yeah, there we go, victory, gained 5 places, fastest lap. So of course, before we leave, we have to say thank you to Kimmy. Don't really know if he'll understand why I'm thanking him, but we'll thank him anyway.